Hello, and welcome to Get It Off Your Chest, the funny side of breast cancer podcast. My name is Estelle Marr. I'm one of your presenters today, live here from Titty Towers, and I'm also joined by Twinkle Tits, also known as
Andrea Moulding. So how are you, Estelle? I know you've been a little bit ill, haven't you?
a little bit ill. I was like Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was laying in bed for days on end. I thought at one point the ghost of Christmas future might be starting over my bed.
So unlike Estelle. But have you noticed, our listeners are going to notice your deep, sexy COVID voice.
No, it's
So
not
if
quite
anyone's
deep.
out there who wants a voiceover for a sexy older lady, well, Estelle's full of
My voice is only fit for lifts. You know, when they go lift going up, lift going down. That's about it. That's about my repertoire.
Well, I appreciate it. But you have been in the wars. But you also did manage to jump out of bed, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and went down to Pride, didn't you?
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah, I did get better eventually, and yeah, off I went to Pride, with my best mate Tom, who is from Manchester, and we met in Birmingham because my son's there, and yeah, and we got lots of free drinks. I think my son saved us about £200 in ale.
Nice. I'm coming with you next time.
Everyone's coming with me next time. But
Yeah.
no, it was good. But I mean, I really enjoyed it for the fact that I'd missed out on so much because of bloody COVID. It was my mate's 40th. Big shout out to Pinhead. It was also my mate's 70th. And I was also supposed to be going to a haunted hotel with my other gay friend in Sheffield, and didn't manage to get there either. So bloody COVID just absolutely wrecked my social life.
Well,
Apart
I was quite ill as well. You know, I do my swimming, and I attacked the garden like a woman possessed a couple of weeks ago. And then I was like, oh, I'm so fit because I go swimming. And then I leant down to pick up the dog's bowl, and my back just seized, and I could not get out of bed. And I was going down to London to see my mate Ellie,
Mm.
and I got to I got to King's Cross, and I had to go to a cafe. I thought, oh, I'll go to the British Library while I'm waiting for Ellie to come back. And what I managed to do was sit in a cafe for 2 hours and then sit on the tube and then go to bed at her house as soon as I got there. So yeah,
So you turned up at her house and just went straight to bed.
went to bed for an hour. Yeah, well, she went and cooked my dinner for me, and then I got up, lay on the settee, and watched Glow Up or something about makeup, which was
What a guest you are.
I know, I
Hi,
know.
I've not seen you for ages. Go on, where's the bed?
Yeah, where's the bed and go and cook me dinner?
So how are you now? You all right?
I'm all right. Yeah, you know me. I don't like to talk about it or moan at all. You know, so.
Right, so on today's show, we've got Janet Walmsley, and she is flying in all the way from Vancouver in British Columbia. Is that right, Andrea?
It is indeed.
Have you any idea where it is? Because I don't.
I actually do because I'm a massive Stargate fan, and that's where they do lots of filming. So
The listeners, have you noticed that Andrea and I, our atlas of the world, our global, what is it, geography sense, is all based on TV programs? Right, well, sounds like she's just landing on the runway, so here she is.
hi, Janet.
Hi,
Hi,
Hey,
Janet.
hello.
Welcome to the show. How are
We
you?
meet at last.
I'm very good, thank you. How are you, lovely ladies, today?
Well,
if-
we're okay. Stell's recovering from COVID, aren't you, Stell?
Oh no,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry to hear you had that. Oh dear.
Well, I think everybody's had it now, but yeah.
I had
Oh,
I've
you
never
haven't.
had it.
I haven't.
Oh, shut up, periods, with your
Bad us.
Yeah.
I've had it a few times, but this is it. This is because
Oh,
I'm a social butterfly and I just mix with lots of people, so I get all their germs. But here I am to tell the tale.
Janet, you seem to be doing a lot of kind of filming and stuff. Tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're up to.
Yeah, I actually just finished a movie just outside of Vancouver. I got into acting late in life. I did it when I was young, you know, everybody does in high school, junior high, whatever. And my mom, who by the way is a British war bride from East Finchley, London, I remember when we were when I was just finishing high school, I'd sent submissions to a couple of acting schools, and they were further away. I lived in Manitoba in Canada, and my parents, when I said, "Oh, I've got accepted to both acting schools," they looked at each other, then they looked at me, and my mom went, "No, that is not a real profession."
Oh,
So my sister was a registered nurse. My other sister was lab and X-ray tech. So I went in the dental field and became a dental hygienist and assistant. So I didn't come into acting till I was 41, and I got into theater and I acted, directed on the board. And then someone saw me on stage and said, "You've got to get into film and TV."
Cool.
And so it went. So yeah, so I've been on Virgin River a few times, recurring role for Mrs. Gardner. It's a big thing on Netflix. I was on The Unforgivable, which was Sandra Bullock's movie. I was on Once Upon a Time, and just did one about a year or so ago too that was on at the Toronto International Film Festival. Until Branches Bend. So yeah, it's been really busy. I've done TV series, I've done movies, I've done feature films, I've done commercials. I did a singing commercial for Old Spice that ended up on,
oh, my
and
dad
then I
used
did
to
another
wear
show,
that.
ended up on the Jimmy Fallon show, and I went, "Hey, you're on the Jimmy." I was not on the Jimmy Fallon show. No, the scene you're in was. I'm going, "Oh, well, there you go." So it's
And then
been
after all that, you're on our podcast.
So it's been a joy to come in at late life. So this is what I say, no matter how old you are, never give up on your dreams, because I never thought I'd get back into acting. I have many avenues that I work with, but the
Mm.
breast cancer is also dear to the heart because I want to be there for others and their journey.
Fabulous. So
Yeah.
have you got any, before we get into all the cancer talk, have you got any
Yeah.
film gossip about any movie stars? I know you can't say who they are, but you must
Well, I
have some
can I
stories.
can talk about for sure about Ewan McGregor
Oh,
because
go on.
I was on
Really?
Fargo. I was on Fargo, the third season of Fargo, and
Really?
although we didn't have scenes together, our scenes were close related. So I was just finishing my scene, and I was in to go to the other scene, and I was looking at my props and stuff, and all of a sudden I could see peripheral vision someone come up, and he goes, "Hi, Janet, I'm you, and nice to meet you." So I'm trying to be, I'm just going, okay, he's an actor like anybody else. So I look and I go, "Hi, you, and how are you?" So we had a lovely chat about, he was playing these brothers, so we had to shave his hair off because he had two different wigs for each brother. Then he was talking about the accent because Fargo is Minnesotan stories from the States, and Minnesotan, they speak, you know, different. And I'm
Yeah.
originally from Manitoba, so Manitobans speak very Minnesotan
Mm.
because the Minnesota's underneath us in Canada. So he called me a bugger because he said, "You cheated, you knew your accent." So we had a great talk, and then he said the Michael Uppendale, who's directed Glee, Boardwalk Empires, Hollywood, and like just I was so fortunate to work with him. He comes in, he goes, "Oh, Janet, is it okay? We're gonna film you and scene before yours." And I go, "Oh yeah, that's okay. I'm just a little Janet from Vancouver." And that's, you know, and then Ewan goes, "Hey, bring Janet with us. Janet, I want you to tell me how I'm doing." So there's little Janet falling behind Ewan McGregor and Michael Uppendale.
Wow.
Oh my God. Like, so,
Fabulous.
You
Well, I'm
did.
just thinking, you said you worked on Once Upon a Time, and Robert Carlyle's in that. So it's like
oh,
you've basically been working with the whole cast of Trainspotting, which was a massive film in Britain.
and I love Train Spotting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so good. And I didn't get to work with Robert. I was so hoping he'd be on the set or around me because well, I always think of Robert Carlyle with, what's that one where they end up doing male stripping? Oh my gosh, what's it
Full
called?
Full
Monty.
Monty.
And they just did the second one. Oh my God, I love that movie. What's that telling you about me?
Yeah.
You
Well,
should be.
it's funny you say your mum was from East Finchley. I used to live in East Finchley. And
If
I
you
think they're the
listen
only
to the
place in
show,
the
you'll
UK
realise that
have, like-
Andrea has lived everywhere bar the International Space Station.
Oh, you two are hilarious. Oh, now I'm crying. Okay.
While you're still there, while you're putting yourself together. We'll
Yeah.
kick off the show properly. Tell us about when you got cancer and what kind of cancer you had.
I was diagnosed actually July 2nd, 2014. So it's been 10 years. Breast cancer in the right breast. It was the first time anybody in my family, because I checked back as what I could, that had been diagnosed with it. So I was the first. And so it was really like a bit of a shock, but I found out I was actually getting some dry cleaning, picking up some dry cleaning, and my doctor phoned and I said, I knew. She says, "Are you at home?" I said, "No." She says, "Well, I'll wait till you get home." I says, "You know what? Just tell me now, because you've called me in person. Just tell me now." And she told me it's breast cancer. She says, "The right breast." I said, "Okay." And then when I got off the phone, I had a moment, and there was a woman that was working there. She came up and she saw that I was, and she came up, she came around me and she took my hand. And she goes, "Are you okay?" And I says, "Oh, I had just let it out. I just found out I had breast cancer." And she grabbed a hold of me, she gave me a big hug, and in my ear she says, "I'm a 14-year breast cancer survivor." So I
Oh,
feel
brilliant.
when I was told it was meant to be. So
Yeah.
that's what I was diagnosed with, and with breast cancer, right? So I ended up having both breasts removed because the doctor had said, a lot of women just get the one done. And then it's hard for the surgeon, plastic surgeon, if they're going to reconstruct, and you never know, it could be going in the other side, so it's better. So I just said, take them both, and then, so I had a double mastectomy and immediate breast reconstruction. I went home and I sat my daughter and my husband down and explained it to them, and my son lives in Australia because he married an Aussie, and too far away, but she's a lovely gal. But I talked to him, and we just all had a good cry. And I said, "Okay, that's it." All words and upwards. Now we're just positive and just, and I've
Perfect.
always used humor. I'm a comedian. I've always used humor. I find for me, that's not for everybody, but for me, humor is the best
Yeah.
medicine.
When
So
you
tell
stop
us about
laughing,
your
yeah.
funny moments then. What stories have you got to tell us?
How much time do you have? No, I'm just kidding. Well, these are just things that I just fall back on and remember, and the humor that you try to bring through. We know it's a serious subject, but for me and for others I've talked to, humor is a good medicine to help you through it because it is such a serious subject. So I remember before I went into the actual operation and you're in your waiting area, I had my older sister and my best friend with me. And the nurse said, "Okay, you'll be going in about a half an hour." So I had sang in a choir. My sister's an opera singer, and my best friend that was there, we sang in a show choir together. So we just started singing. All of a sudden, people are coming around the corner going, "Are you not going into surgery?" I said, "People are coming by." And then one lady goes, "Can I get in on this?" So she was going for an operation herself. So we were just getting in a really good mood before we got in there. And I was even singing as we were taking it down. Is it okay to sing? Well, I go, "Yep." So I was singing down when I was going in the
Brilliant.
operating room. And they didn't mind. So that was okay. So that's how I went out before they did the
So while they're wheeling you to the theatre, you're giving it the beans on the trolley.
I was kind of glad that I had my sister and my friend with me because it just brought everything to the fore that it's so good to have family and friends who are supporting you and there for you. I feel for women and the men who get it too, that are on their own or maybe not have that, because that really helped with the whole scenario that I was going into.
Yeah.
Because number one is the breast cancer, but number two, like that was a 6.5 hour surgery I had, and I'm thinking, I hope I come out. So if I go under, bye everybody. But like there's the two issues there because it's a big surgery. So you have that on top of it. So that's how I dealt going into the actual surgery. Then I don't know how it worked with you, but when I had this double mastectomy, and my older sister came to stay with me because my husband worked up north. So I had these two tubes, long tubes that hung out of each breast. And then there's those containers at the bottom, and they have to be emptied every 3 or 4 hours. My
Yeah, we
sister,
had that.
thank God to my sister that she was there. And Jenny, my daughter, helped too. But you have to put them out. Well, I couldn't stand, I'm a goer. I like to go. And I said to her, I said, after, and I mean, it's still in pain. I said, you know what? I need to go for a walk. I says, I have to go for a walk. I have to get out of here. So as we're going down for our walk, my sister said, only you would do this, Janet, and get away with it. I was singing and swinging my tubes down the street.
Swinging your drains.
Down my drains. I was just,
Doing. Yeah.
and Vicky goes, oh my, she was so embarrassed and she was mad. Actually, so embarrassed. I said, I don't care. I said, I just need to bring some humor to these damn drains. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was hiding mine in a little designer bag as I walked up the street. I wasn't swinging mine anywhere.
You were very classy about yours. I went
Yeah,
together with
mine
mine.
hid in the Vivian Westwood
Jan-
bag.
Janet, we were saying in another podcast that we were going to have a department store, and Estelle's handbag was going to be drainware.
Drainware. And then you just pop it over your shoulder and nobody knows.
That would be a real good thing.
No,
You know?
no, I just literally had a hole in the armpit and the tubes were coming out of that. And I had
Yeah.
and I popped the drains in the bag and then put the bag over my shoulder. And I just looked like I was going to the co-op. I just looked like I
That
was
is
going
a
to the
really
shop.
good idea. That is
Heard it here
really
first,
smart. That is such cute. And talking about that with the drains, I remember I thought to myself, my friend that was with me at before I went to surgery, she came with me to take when we're going to get these drains removed, and they're way up there, right? And they're very
Yeah,
long,
yeah.
as you know. And we're sitting in the room in the room waiting for the doctors to come in. And then I said to Shirley, I go, I wonder how they're taking these out. And so the doctor just said to my friend, Janet, you just keep staring at your friend and you talk or do whatever you want. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, I guess they're going to take him out now. So Shirley and I, as usual, we started singing because we were practicing for the show choir. So we started singing. And then all of a sudden, yank, we just wrecked him out like that, like just pulled out. I wasn't singing anymore. I was yodeling. I was just going, it just was with high pitched yodel. And it was just, and I thought, okay, we got to do this on the other. I said, that's how you take them out. Like I was just stunned.
Honestly, I always describe mine as somebody sucking spaghetti out of my body. That's what it
Oh no, now I'm visualizing that as spaghetti because that's what Estelle, that's what it's really like. That's just what it is like, right? Slurp,
Yeah.
except it's more than a slurp, it's a slurp. Waka. And I thought what was really funny is when I went to the plastic surgeon for the first time to meet her before the operation, we were sitting in her room and she pulls out the drawer and she says, okay, what size do you want? Dolly Parton, Dolly Parton, Angelina Jolie, or maybe Jennifer Aniston. And I looked at her and I said, well, I definitely don't want Dolly Parton. Because and the funny thing was I was very flat chested, like extremely flat chested. My dad used to say that you were like fried eggs busted or whatever. He said, just really,
Yeah.
really flat. And my two sisters were too, and they both got breast augmentation. I never did. My mom said to me, Janet, God gave you what he gave you. So I said, yeah, okay, Mom. She says, promise me you won't. So I had to look up at her at that time to say, sorry, Mom and Evan, but I couldn't help it. I have to get them now. So I said to the plastic surgeon, I think I'll go for Jennifer Aniston. That's the one I'd like. So it was so funny how she pulled them out. There's these huge ones, the middle size, and then, a little bit smaller.
Lovely.
It was just so funny. And then
shop. Yeah.
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 And then after I had the operation, she liked my reconstruction so much that she said, would you mind if I took a picture? Well, she had to take pictures anyway, but I would like to take one picture and I'd like to frame your boobs and put them on the wall. I said, what? So the whole journey there always seemed to be something. But
So are your tits hanging in somebody's office now?
we weren't hanging up the last time I was up there, so maybe she's got someone better. She hasn't had anybody else up there yet, so
So have you got anything else you'd like to share before we let you go?
I think those are basically ones that really stood out for me that I just remember and I just every now and then I'll just take a look back and I have a giggle because I'm a very visual person and so I visualize all those different events that occurred and it was just
Yeah.
funny and it just highlights every now and then and I'll talk to my friend or my sister about it and we just shake our heads and go, oh my God. And I always look out, and I've always told my agent any story that comes up with breast cancer, things like that. And I do, there's something that happens here. I haven't done it recently, but I did it a couple of years in a row where there's breast surgeons and plastic surgeons who have this event at our local hospital here in Vancouver, and people who've been diagnosed, they come and breast surgeon, plastic surgeons talk to them. And then there's 10 of us who've had different type of reconstruction or whatever, lumpectomies or double mastectomy, single mastectomy, whatever. And we have to wear, we're naked from the waist up. And then what they do, we're like models with our breasts. And they walk by and they go, and I remember go, oh, your breasts are really nice. Oh, you only got one done. But they're at the beginning, these women, or you can just see they're panicking, they're scared, because it's like the first reaction you're told, and you see them panicking, but you can see afterwards when they've talked with all of us, and you know me, I'm bringing a bit of the humor in with it. You can see it's almost like they're tense to their shoulders coming down, just
Yeah.
just release.
That was
Yeah.
going to be my question. As your positive attitude, influenced anybody, affected anybody? And clearly it has, with you doing something like that.
Yeah. And then I had one gal, she had come to me. She was in acting classes with me. This was a while back, and she had said, I had been talking to another woman about, it's important going for your mammographs or whatever, because if you don't go, you'll never know. And thank God I went, because if I hadn't been going, mine at first was hard to detect, and then all of a sudden it grew, and then they found it. So, but with her, she says, oh, I don't go those are, I don't do that. And I just went, oh, I said, well, all I can say is I think it's important, because I know of women who didn't, and some have lost their lives. And I said, I'm just saying it because I'm just thinking of you, but that's your choice. And so I had a big conversation with her about it. And the next thing I know, she says she went for her mammogram. She was diagnosed with breast cancer.
No. Oh,
Gosh.
wow. Is she still
And she
with
came
us?
back to me and she says, thank you, Janet, for she says, you didn't push, but I could tell you were being loving and caring, and you just wanted to be there for me. And she says, thank God you did,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I've got it.
How is she?
She's good. She's good.
Good.
She's here. She's good.
Good.
So,
Brilliant. Well,
It's been
I just want guys to go for mammographs with their penis, so then we don't have to be the only ones getting our breasts flattened.
yeah.
I mean, we have to go through the
imagine?
periods. We have to go through having the baby, and then we gotta
Yeah.
go through the mammographs. What do they do? They have an affair with a younger woman when they're about 50, and then away they go. So
Yeah, exactly. It's a
Can you
bit
imagine a
unfair.
man having a mammogram with his penis? Can you imagine? They'd all be dead. Half the male population would be wiped out because they just look at the machine and go, "I'm not even sticking my finger in that. Never mind me, Willie."
Well,
So
could you imagine a guy? I don't know if you ever seen it, but Howie Mandel, he's a Canadian comedian. He does this comedy act, on stage comedy act of being a man with a period. Oh my God. It is so hilarious. I laughed so hard because, when we have periods, wear pads, we go dancing when we were young and we do all this stuff. And he was trying to show how this guy phoned another guy who said, oh, let's go out dancing tonight. And he goes, oh, I'm on my period. He goes, oh, that's not good. Oh, I can't. Oh, and he was trying to dance. Goes, I can't handle it. Say we're having a baby. Could you imagine a guy having a baby? They couldn't do it.
No, they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
yeah, the human race would have stopped centuries ago.
Well, this has been lovely. Thank you so much for having me, Estelle and Andrea. And you women are totally lovely. I've just really enjoyed this.
Janet, the pleasure's been ours, and thank you so much.
And if you need a couple of extras in any of your
Oh, yeah.
superstar films, we'll be there. We'll just be.
We need any voice actors. If my daughter gets her animation going, go, hey, I got a couple of British women. They are great. They would be really good as a couple of people.
We'll be there.
Yeah,
definitely.
And my son wants to be
Let's
an
stay in
actor.
touch. I want to stay in touch with you both.
Please do. Please
You're
do.
doing it.
All right, my darling.
Well, you guys take good care too. This was an absolute joy. You are absolute joys, and thank you again.
No, thank you. Have a lovely day.
Rest of your
We'll see you
evening.
soon. See you.
Bye.
Well, that was Janet. She was a fabulous guest, wasn't she, Estelle?
Oh, loved her, loved her. So I do hope she does give us a call so we can be in the background of some of her films. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Imagine me and you, the background. We'd be like, who was it? Was it French and Saunders or somebody where there was like a couple of characters who always used to like loom in the background.
It's like Casualty. There's a couple of people in Casualty that are always in there.
Yeah, that'll be us.
Do it. It's a new career, Estelle.
That's it. Oh, so
Yeah.
we're going to be extras now.
Yes.
We're leaving the department store to our children and we're off now to become extras.
Yes, paid extras.
Oh,
No, I
no,
loved her. I thought she was great.
Anyway, it's been a great show, but we've got to go. Hamilton Brown III, I believe he's on holiday this week. He's probably took his budgie smugglers that he's been wearing to the bats when he goes to see Twinkle Tits. So he's no doubt lying somewhere in Butlands, basking in the 17-degree glow.
Yes, in Minehead in the pouring rain.
Yeah. Right. So if anybody wants to contact us, what do they need to do?
Well, Estelle, you can email us at stories@tittytowers.com. You can contact us through Facebook, Instagram. That's
So
about
yeah,
it, really.
if you want to come on the show, just drop us a line, let us know your funny story, and we'll contact you and we'll get you on the show. But until next time, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.